Now, the thing is, though, isn't it interesting how with all that's going on at the moment with the online presence that we're having and having to communicate online, suddenly we've created this belief that how are we going to do this when we're doing it online? And I've heard so many conversations with my real estate clients, with my council clients, with my government clients, with everyone. And a lot of people are saying, well, Alex, how am I to connect when I'm online? And that's such a great question. I trust that relates and that resonates with a lot of you. Would I be right in saying that? Yeah, so suddenly we're confronted with this computer. How are we meant to have those conversations with our people, with our clients, when normally we're used to being connected? And I'm here to tell you, it's a limiting belief that we create for ourselves. So essentially what that means is that it's the belief that we have. So here in front of you on the computer, you will see a group of amazing people. I used to lead these people when I was in federal government. And if I may share with you a very quick story, and we'll get to the prison stuff in a minute. But in 2014, the government brought in online servicing for Centrelink. And suddenly, nationally, we were meant to deliver and tell our clients that, hey, guess what? You know what? Everything's now going online. Now, these clients that I'm talking about, as a lot of you probably are aware, are clients with major barriers to employment, major barriers to literacy and numeracy, mental health issues, drug addicted, violently aggressive. Some of the retirees, some of them are youth who have never ever had computers, you know, and retirees who had never had computers. So suddenly our staff were confronted with, how the hell are we meant to do this? Are you serious? Like, you know, Centrelink is meant to do this stuff online. So suddenly our beliefs started to, I guess, you know, take over and hijack our thinking. And it's really the thinking and the beliefs that we place online. So what is our belief about online? What's our belief around technology? What's our belief around basically, you know, what we think of connecting with people online? That is all the beliefs that we actually sort of tell ourselves and start to allow to take over what's really happening. And so the initial response obviously is going to be threat. But then it's about assessing the situation. What's the difference? Does that make sense?
Yep.
So
yep.
it's really about assessing the situation, assessing our beliefs, and asking ourselves, well, what is the difference really? You know, do you believe that you're not going to get results online? Do you believe that, or do you perceive that maybe the rapport that you'll get online is different to the rapport that you will get face to face? And it's this thing about every single human being, you know, we go through this 4-level, it's a learning journey. Is anyone here familiar with the learning journey?
No.
No. I'm going to very briefly speak about it because we don't have much time, but essentially when we're confronted by something that we've never done before, like COVID, like this online stuff, suddenly we're at this place called unconscious incompetence. We have absolutely no idea of what to expect. We've absolutely no idea of how the hell we're going to do this stuff. You know, like, what is it? Is it going to give us the results? Are we going to get our share? Are we going to get our sales through? Are our people going to be cool with this? How am I even meant to connect with my people? It's a learning journey, as if like when you're starting to learn to drive a new car or ride a bike, you know, we have no idea of what to do first. That's with absolutely everything in our world, everything. It's the same with this thing. So this took a bit of time. When this came in for the government, what happened was my staff were fearful of aggression. And I have to tell you, and you probably saw it on TV back then, physical aggression had actually gone through the roof with Centrelink. We were being confronted by weapons. We had to start employing security guards for officers because it was an aggressive environment. It was an environment like never before, because not only were the staff scared and fearful of what's going on, so were the clients. Suddenly they were confronted with, but that's the only place I've got to come in and speak to somebody, or I've never done this before. So it was their certainty suddenly had just, you know, just gone, kaput, disappeared. So our fear sort of tends to take over, and we allow it to take over, and that suddenly becomes a limiting belief, and suddenly we don't know what to do. But really, there's just no difference. It's just a matter of learning a different way. We can still communicate and connect, and it may not be the touchy-feely stuff, but we can still sort of do it online. So it's really about how do we communicate online to be able to get the same effect. Again, that takes skill. And so it's about bringing who it is that you're being. It's about communicating and dressing up like you would go to work. It's about being mindful of your voice, your tempo, your tonality. It's about being mindful of how you present yourself, you know, and the smile, and just incorporating all of your body language to be able to make it a nice sort of comfortable space. Michael, when I first met you, Michael, I think it was last week, we broke the ice so quickly. It's as if I've known you for years. I trust you felt the same way, by the way.
I did. Well, it's mainly because, Alex, you were very good and you complimented me a lot. So
Right.
I thought I liked you.
Thank you.
If you're going to compliment me, I'm going to like you. I'm like a puppy dog. You pat me and I'll like you. Alex, at the moment, there are a lot of agents that are seeing this as the worst time in their employment history or their career, whilst at the same time, there are people that are looking at this and saying it may be an obstacle, but it's also a great opportunity.
Absolutely.
So how do we shift? How do we go from it is the worst to this could be an opportunity? And is that something which is about self-talk? How do we do that?
That's a great question. And I'll tell you why. How do you know it's the worst thing you've ever experienced when you've never experienced it before, is my question.
Sure.
How do you even know that? Like, you've just said it. And how do you know that? So that would be my first question. Give me evidence of how you know that this is the worst experience because you've not given it a go yet.
Yeah.
How do you know? So I would shift that and I would reframe that. And yes, it does come back to self-talk. Comes back to, because you've gone into fear mode, because you're at level 1 of your learning journey, you're unconsciously incompetent of what is going on. What do I need? What systems do I need to put in place? How do I even get people to look at houses? You know, how do we do any of what you normally do personally? And this obviously puts us into fight or flight mode, and we feel threatened. And our initial response is fear, right? Because it's fear of the unknown. And so suddenly everything becomes, it's a disaster, it's a catastrophe because of what's just happened. That's the initial response. But when we start learning to pause and maybe think about, okay, hang on a minute, this is new. This is new. How can we look at this differently? What are what are the benefits of this? How can we look at it from the other perspective? It could be that people don't have to leave their home to go and, you know, I suppose, look at a new home, or, you know, auctions these days are happening online. I know a couple of real estate agents who are booming at the moment because of all that's going on. This online stuff has just turned their business the other way, and they've just boosted things through the roof. This was in New South Wales. So, you know, how can you look at it differently to get people into the home or wherever it is that they need to be digitally? There's so many opportunities. So it's in the language that we use and what we tell ourselves as to the outcome. And I want to share something with you later that will resonate with you a little bit as to how to construct your conversations that you have with yourself.